What is going on, everyone? Platinum Beast coming at you with yet another video today. Today we're going to be talking about how platinum is different from gold and silver, and yet also somewhat the same. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, everybody, so y'all are probably asking yourselves, Platinum Beast, what do you mean the same? What do you mean different? How can it be both? Well, here's my thoughts and opinions on that matter, okay? One thing in particular that we saw recently in the recent run-up of pretty much all three of these precious metals is we saw gold going up and up and up, and we saw silver going up and up and up, and then ultimately we saw platinum going up and up and up. So what does that mean? Well, if you were looking close enough and if you were paying close enough attention, you noticed that gold and silver went up before platinum started making its rise, okay? Now what that tells me is that investors who were buying gold and silver saw the price go up and decided, it's at a point where it's risen enough that I don't want to buy it. So I'm going to buy platinum, which still hasn't risen. And then platinum rose as well, right? We saw over $1,000 platinum for the first time in, 4 or 5 months, 6 months maybe. So that was interesting to see. It was delayed in rising like gold and silver, but it did ultimately rise like gold and silver. So I think this is an important point to note on, is that there's a lot of people out there that will tell you platinum only has an industrial use. It's not money, okay? They'll tell you platinum is not money. Platinum is not money. Well, that's kind of weird because it has $15 printed on this coin in particular. So I don't know about all that platinum is not money talk, but regardless, people will tell you platinum is not money. It's not the same as gold and silver. It's completely different. It only has industrial use, and when that industrial use goes away, platinum will be worthless. Now, I don't agree with that sentiment at all, but what I will say is it is viewed a little bit differently, but it is also viewed the same, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video. People were buying gold and silver as the price continued to climb, and they said, well, it's already climbed, gold and silver. Now's the time to buy platinum, so they started buying that, and that started to climb as well. Now, all three have since pulled back from those recent highs, but they all three did climb roughly around the same time. Now, why does this also make platinum an attractive metal to have and buy and trade and sell and all that good stuff? Well, I think that if you see a rise in gold and silver, okay, and I know a lot of y'all stack gold and silver, I do too, but if you see gold and silver rise and you miss the boat, you might have an extra sort of second chance to buy some platinum while it's still down, if it's lagging behind like it did this previous run-up of all the precious metals. You might have that opportunity to buy platinum before it runs up so you don't fully miss the train or boat or what have you, right? And I think this is key. I think this could happen again. I think that if we do truly see gold and silver sort of moonshot, what we'll see is platinum take a day or two to catch up, right? And if that's the case, that could provide a decent opportunity for those who decided, I don't know, maybe this is just another one of those things where it goes up for a day and then it comes back down the next day. So, I don't know. It's kind of interesting stuff if you really think about it. Let me know if y'all have noticed this in the past before. Have you noticed gold and silver rise and then platinum comes, late to the party, arrives fashionably late, if you will? I think it's kind of interesting. I think it's something that we need to pay attention to and sort of keep in mind when stacking is, if you bought gold at its all-time high or silver at its, multiple year high, while platinum was still down, you know, when that pullback came, you probably kind of, well, could have had a better opportunity had you bought the platinum while it was still down, even though they all three have pulled back quite a bit. It's an interesting thing to note, and it's an interesting thing to take into account. Now, what's also interesting is palladium kind of did things a little bit differently as well. The pullback on that metal has been very, very substantial. We went back down below $1,000 an ounce for a moment there. And a lot of people think that that metal is going to continue to be sort of a falling knife, if you will, that people are going to keep trying to catch and determine where the bottom is. So I'm holding off on palladium for now, but platinum, gold, and silver, I'm still stacking, and I'm still focusing on those three metals, especially platinum, because I just think it's still the most undervalued metal to date, right? So it's interesting stuff going on in the precious metal world, and that key point is something I wanted to hone in on with y'all, is that, you know, I look at this stuff as a metal, and I think other countries and places like that do as well. Now, another thing going for platinum is its price point compared to gold and silver. Silver is seen as the bottom, and I know a lot of people will say copper is, but I personally think silver is really the bottom investment metal, right? Maybe copper will reach an investment grade at some point, but right now it's just way too common, and it's just not valuable enough, I don't think. But I think silver has been for quite a while valuable enough. I mean, obviously, they took it out of the money back in what, the 60s? So we're going on 60 years now. In fact, 2024 is exactly 60 years when they took the silver out of the money. So we're going on 60 years now as silver being a money metal, whereas copper was mostly taken out in the 80s, which we haven't had enough time yet for that metal. So silver is the bottom, right? And gold is the king, is what everyone says, right? If you ask 2 is 1, gold is all that anything matters, right? But I think we could personally see gold reach a level where it's just far too high, right? Banks will always be buying it, and, you know, wealthy people in places like Dubai and stuff, it'll always be their metal. But we could see it reach unattainable levels, or on any real aspect, right? There will always be grams and stuff like that you could buy, but platinum is so undervalued right now. So this metal is, and that's another point, is the higher gold gets, the more attractive this metal looks as a monetary metal and a means of exchange and, you know, bullion investment, blah, 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 right? We're seeing more and more mints come out with more and more designs and stuff like that. The Perth Mint has really been putting out a whole bunch of stuff in recent times. And I think that's a sign of this metal becoming more and more popular from an investment standpoint and a stacking standpoint. But let me know y'all's thoughts and opinions down below. I'd love to hear them. You know, I'm just sharing my thoughts and opinions with y'all as far as what I think is the future for platinum. I don't agree with the people who say it's not a monetary metal. I don't agree with the people who say it only has industrial use, and without that industrial use, it's worthless. I just don't think that. I think we've moved past that, right? Maybe years and years ago it was like that, but years and years ago, silver was just simply money, right? You made $1 at your job, you got a silver dollar. It's not the case anymore. Silver is a monetary metal. It's an investment metal. It also is an industrial metal, but it's so much more than that. And I think platinum is as well. And I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts and opinions down below. But with all that being said, I appreciate y'all stopping by and checking out the video today. Be sure to hit that like button on your way out. Hit that subscribe button so you can always stay up to date with future updates on the Platinum Beast channel. With all that being said, until next time, we'll see y'all.